The Democratic Alliance has blamed the African National Congress for the call given by the African leaders for a mass withdrawal from ICC. On Tuesday, African leaders adopted a strategy calling for a collective withdrawal from the International Criminal Court. But the main opposition party has decided to lay the blame for the decision by a majority of African countries on the ANC. The DA's charge on ANC seems to be based simply on its domestic political compulsions, completely ignoring the concerns raised by a majority of African countries on the bias of the War Crime Court. The DA has been targeting the ruling party over its decision to quit the ICC. The DA says the ANC was wrong in not consulting the legislature before withdrawing.
What happened is that the government gave notice to the International Criminal Court before it had made a single announcement to the South African Parliament. As you know, the International Court is domesticised in our law. That law has not yet been repealed. It has not yet been replaced by another law. We have a year in which to give notice. So we believe that the whole thing was premature, it was rushed and it was bungled. And we are asking the court to declare that that was unprocedurally done.
In the latest salvo, the DA in a statement says, and I quote, "It is shameful and condemnable that South Africa set the precedent for the AU resolution for a collective withdrawal from the ICC. The ANC-led government has used its influence on the continent not to uphold and fight for human rights, but to send a clear signal that those who are accused of genocide, war crimes and crimes against humanity on the continent can escape accountability and justice." End quote. Heads of state made the decision at the recent African Union summit in an effort to send a political message to the War Crimes Court. AU members criticized the court for what they call its skewed focus on prosecuting African leaders. The decision was apparently taken by consensus, but there were a number of states who opposed such a move. Nigeria has, during the summit, spearheaded the call for opposition to the withdrawal. However, the resolution is not binding, with Nigeria and Senegal opposing a withdrawal. South Africa and Burundi have already decided to withdraw, accusing the ICC of undermining their sovereignty and unfairly targeting Africans. The ICC denies the allegation, insisting that it is pursuing justice for victims of war crimes in Africa. But the bizarre rationale given by the DA that on the behest of the ANC, the African leaders decided to give a call for withdrawal from the ICC raises several questions. The right to blame ANC for a tectonic shift in the African continent's approach. Why ignore concerns of African nations and on ICC's biases? How are heads of state of African nations' decision influenced by the ANC? Is it right to mix domestic political differences in international matters?